There was one term that we used to call in service now, right? There is one we call predictive intelligence, right? So this is more into, I would say, is based on a historical data, or is kind of like a AI things that try to figure out the potential failures, or how to identify what are the issue gonna happen in the future based on the particular records, right? So whenever the memory going very high, what are the things will happen to our servers, or those kind of things. And the last part I would say are more into a fast incident response, right? So more into a or customer satisfactions, and the meantime to resolve a issue, right? So when a machine deal with a machine, you get a fast response on resolutions, and the customer would be satisfied, right? So in terms of a system health, right, if we combine these both, right, so I would say there is an AI ops benefit that we can earn from here, right? So that is what we say, like we've been utilizing the AI or machine learning to analyze a large volume of data, right? So that is something that will give a quick, I would say, faster updates or faster analyzations based on the log metrics or event in a real time, right? So those kind of things that will be helping us, right? And then the second one was will be on the identify the pattern or root cause, right? So this is more into how you put a you apply a machine learning algorithm into a defect, or you to detect unusual behavior, right? So if something went wrong, what are the things that you have to focus, right? So those are the things that you are in place for automated, or I would say in more into utilizing the AI for root cause analysis or root cause finding. Right. The third part is more into fall alert, or I would say by like more into filtering noise, right? So the traditional method you might use to get a lot of I would say a lot of alert, right? So based on my experience in event dial, right? So whenever the memory full on, I would say there is a vulnerable on a server side, we used to get a lot of alert, right? So there is a continuous alert where until you fix the issues, right? So in a modern term of AI maintaining, right? So that is focusing more into a high or critical issue, right? So that is where we require the human to involve in, but more toward to a medium and a low priority issues, something related with the service stop running, or something memory is full, or some services is not running at all, right? Or something need to be patched, right? So all these are done through a automation process or schedule script that call the machine to run itself. And the last part on the AI ops benefit, right? So I would say it's a smarter decision maker, right? So and it's a real time. So for us, if you do, for us to identify and for us to put into a decision, right? So whenever there is a complex feature or complex issue, right? So we might probably have a long discussion, and we have come out to, it might drag a time, and you have to put everyone into a meeting, right? So in terms of utilizing AI operations, right? So this will help us to give a smarter decision or something that reduce the time, right? And it will be a real time solutions, and by end of the day you can see a real-time dashboard, something that you be presenting to your leadership levels, or kind of a recommendation action that you can take, right? So to remediate the issues, right? So those are the things that I can highlight here on the operations of, like I would say, the AI operations benefit in terms of reducing the human error, and like improving a system reliabilities. Okay, cool, so far so good.
Yeah, cool. Mr. Vijaya, sorry to interrupt because the time allotted for your session has ended actually. So it's a very interesting session. We would like to hear more from you as well.
Too
Before
bad.
we end your session, can we go to the last question because we need your insight on
Oh,
this
cool.
session. So can we have a few minutes on this?
Ah, yes, cool.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is more into the transformation from a student life to a professional workspace, right? So I do highlight few things here, right? So this is how I would say like where you have a flexible hours in your university life, right? So maybe you might have a class in the morning and noon you might be free, like, and sometime you might or probably on that day you might probably have one or two classes only, right? And you have a flexible time for you to work on more other things, right? And sometimes even on your assignments. But in a professional work you might have a fixed hours, right? But even in Dell, we do have a flexible hours for you to work, and sometimes you put yourself in a flexible hours, right? But you, if I'm talking a overall professional workspace, right? So you might have a fixed hours that you have to contribute to the organization, right? So this is something that you discipline yourself to put into a fixed hours that you have to wake up early morning, to the office hours, right? So to be punctual, right? And I think most of the company they might probably have a kind of like a punching or thumbprint, some kind of a biometric, and that's right. So, and even some company are giving you the attendance benefit as well, right? So just to make sure you are punctual to the office organizations. The second part is like more into deadline, right? So I would say like so is a balanced way in a, even in a university or institution, right? Or if you are comparing to the organization or workspace, right? So the deadline is very strict, right? So it take effect on the organization. Maybe in term of a university, if you doesn't meet your deadline for a particular assignment, right, the submission, it might affect individually, right? So maybe your mark only. But if you're talking about the deadline into an organization, it might affect the whole team. It might probably affect the inherent team as well, right? So there was a project that need to meet the deadline, that need to be pushed into a production or something that you have to come out on the go live date, right? So we have to be like very strict into a deadline, right? Okay. On the third point, I would say on the more into a professional communication, right? So I would say it involves verbal and non-verbal communication. It's not to say only you can speak up, but you cannot write up. So in if you're talking about the IT organization, right? So there is something that you have to do technical writing, right? So you have to come up with technical writing. Even before we start a development, right? So we do have like a kind of like a story that we take the business requirement, we put into a technical term that we can proceed further with the developments, right? So based on the requirements, and we try to align with our capacities, right? So all these are involved with the professional communication, right? The next one is like you have to manage your time, right? So based on the task. So it is, I would say it's like a kind of like a trend, or I would say is a common, right, to have ad hoc projects to come on to you. You might probably have an assigned task that you already been working and you are busy with, and suddenly you might have be assigned with a ad hoc task on top of it, right? And you have to know how to prioritize the issues, right? So it's from where, from who, and what are the deadline, and when we supposed to complete it, right? So this is how you manage your time and how you prioritize your tasks. Right. The fifth point is more into your attitude. Right. So how you be professional, be respectful. Right. So a lot of things like I would say it's like more on how you put it into a professional attitude, or how you present yourself or branding yourself in organizations. And obviously networking is one of the way that you can brand yourself and move further into other career opportunities as well, right? So that was one of the things that will be helping you in career opportunities. And the last one is more into like interactions, right? So or reputations, right? So I would say a lot of things that be viable in our organization, right? So you might have a kind of like a clubs, or there is a lot of things that they've been doing outside of organization as well, right? So involvement of things that not even related with your department or maybe a CSR event, right? So been run. So you get a lot of opportunity that meet new peoples, and you try to present yourself and like bring a kind of a culture of building a networking, right? So try to interact and don't be afraid of talking, right? And don't be afraid of asking. And that is some tips that I can give, right? So yeah, it's like basically for the junior that who are trying to join, who will be joining an organization or start a professional workspace, they can start to observe first, right? So it's more into, I would say, you try to concentrate, right? So on what are the things that you're supposed to be done on a daily basis, right? So and put into your better understanding that how you can transform this into a you can find an opportunity that how you can improve the system, right? So those kind of professional skills or design thinking skills will improve you or bring you into a or carry a professional I would say give you a career growth, right? So this is something that I would share to the youth. Yep. And
Oh,
don't feel afraid to ask feedback on a regular basis. That is one of my attitude as well. I used to ask for feedbacks from my managers, even to the next level managers, and not even like even my peers as well. Yep. Cool.
okay, cool. Okay, thank you very
Yep.
much, Mr. Vijaya, for your insightful sharing. Okay,
Cool.
so okay,
Thank
yes.
you.
Many of the key discussion points we had prepared for the academic dialogue have already been addressed during your presentation. To make the best use of our time, we will move straight into the student Q&A session. So students, the floor is now yours. If you have any questions you would like to ask, so this is your time. Please ask.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Who's that?
So, my
Jonathan.
name is Jonathan David. I'm from IPK College.
Yeah, obviously you're from IPK.
Yeah, I'm from computer science. As a computer science student, I was interested to hear your speech on your experiences there and how much you introduce your expertise and the stuff. And I guess some of the things, but still, I know
Mm.
this question has been answered, but I still want to ask this question that as students, what is the best starting point if we want to learn about cloud computing and IT operations?
You mean the starting point?
Yeah,
Okay, if you're talking about a cloud computing, right? So, okay, you at the starting point, I would say you learn about, about containers, the architecture, right? So, whatever we are talking about, a cloud architecture, have you heard about this?
no,
Okay, let me give you an example, right? So, have you heard about a Docker?
okay,
Docker is kind of like a packaging system, right? So it's more into the traditional method in a cloud computing is more into how you put a virtual machines, and you are required to have a Hyper-V to run a heavy load, right? So if you're utilizing a Docker, right, so it's kind of like a low weight, or I would say a minimum weight of a packagings, right? So that will be helpful on a developing a architecture, right? So as a beginner, you can learn about the cloud architecture, get utilized with the cloud architecture and how this has been maintained, right? So those are the things that you can cover as a beginner, was like for your knowledge, right, more into a container, and I would say like how you utilize with the microservice.
not really.
Microservice is something related with how you break the application into a small portions, right? Or business centric tasks. Because if you want to learn a lot of a cloud, right? So cloud is very wide. there is a lot of services that cloud are providing. Maybe it should be a software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. So you try to put into a microservice, right? So then learn into break small portion of a application. If you're targeting into a software as a service, okay, let's learn about a container related with the software as a services, right? So how you packaging a software and push into a cloud, I mean to say deploy into a cloud, and how these services is available to the wide. So this is overall about a cloud architecture and a minimum level of developments, right?
Okay.
And probably by end of the things that you learn, right? So you will learn slightly about serverless computing. Serverless computing is more into cloud execution model, right? So where the developer write code without managing the servers, because it's not in prime servers or something that the is being hosted in a campus, or even yourself you want to try something else, right? So you have the opportunity that you can go directly and test it out, right? So
Mhm.
I would advise for you to like learn about infrastructure as a cloud, more into accessible, where you put the packagings, right? So utilizing a containers. So those kind of advice that I can give if you want to try into a cloud. So the first part will be on the architecture.
Yeah. Can I just add over here? Do we have time, Kalai?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, sorry, who was asking the question just now? If I can address your
Jonathan.
name, please.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Thank you for asking, right? So I suppose the terms used were very, I would say, a little bit technical. And I think at your level, I would understand that you probably just started out. I'm not a technical person, all right? But over the years, I have built my knowledge, right? On, as what Vijay has mentioned, cloud computing, storage, and etc. One of the very first step that I did was, there are a lot of videos, right, especially on YouTube out there, right, which you can actually go through, visualize it, and internalize the points. And then when you have questions, right, then form those questions in your mind. And I would bring those questions and go and find a colleague of mine who is more technical, for example, with the technical sales, and I'll present my understanding to that person. You get where I'm coming from? Just to check my understanding. So it's important, right, to do so. Otherwise, you may have the wrong understanding, for example. Yeah, it's not in alignment with Dell technologies. And my colleague or my senior from technical sales, for example, would provide feedback. That's what Vijay has mentioned, a feedback. I think those terms you
Yep.
will gradually learn, right? Whether it's microservices or whether it's Hyper-V, container, etc. Take it one step at a time. Does that help for you to learn? And of course, right now we have all the AI tools. We have ChatGPT, we have Copilot, etc., etc. That can easily help with your understanding as well. All it needs is your prompting. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Good.
All
Yes.
right.
Thanks for add on, KB. So just to give an slightly intro on NSable, right? So NSable is more into packaging, right? So if you log into docs.nsible.com, ANSIBLE.com, right? Ansible. So you will have a kind of like a document related with the training or how you can utilize Ansible. So this is more into learning
Vijay,
cloud architectures.
if I can interrupt you, sorry, you're right, because my slot is next, so I'm just conscious of the time over here.
Okay,
If
okay, cool.
it's more on the technical portion, etc., I would say
Uh,
let's save it for later. And also, right, we have to understand our audience as well,
yep,
right? So
exactly.
they have yet to graduate,
I'm already done,
and
of course.
yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you,
Yes, thank
speakers.
you.
That was a great sharing. Thank you. Okay, so we do understand that before we continue, we would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Vijaya and also Mr. Chan just now to adding on for the very valuable sharing and insights today. As he needs to, Mr. Vijaya needs to leave us shortly due to work commitments. We would like to present our certificate of appreciation to him now as a token of our gratitude. So may I invite Mr. Shami to remain on screen as we present the certificate of appreciation to Mr. Vijaya. So Mr. Vijaya, stay on the screen, please. So we're just going to take a screenshot.
I have some question. Can I ask?
Okay. Zenyu, you can put your question in the chat box. Maybe we can address this
Yeah.
later during our open discussion. Okay. Thank you, Zenyu, for your interest. Okay. Once
Uh,
again, Mr. Vijaya, thank you so much. We truly
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
your presence today and wish you a continued success in your career. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. And thank you
Thanks,
for the
buddy.
opportunity. Thank you. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Okay, so now we will now
I'm
continue
sorry.
with our yes.
Sorry, Kala. Does Vijay need to join back later on when we're a Q&A, the round table?
If he is free, yes, he may. But if it is not, then I think three of you can handle.
All right. Because I can ask him to come back. I can ping him.
Yeah, yeah. If he wants to, if he's available, we will be love to have him back.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so yes, we will now continue with our second sharing session. It is my pleasure to introduce once again Mr. Chan Kim Beng to share his session. So his session will be on leading in the era of AI, workforce development, ESG, and global sales excellence. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Chan Kim Beng.
Thank you
The
so
floor
much. Thank you so much, Miss Kalai. And wow, I didn't know that the AI could do a good job, on the image over here. All right. If you could share the slide, please. Thank you so much. Oh, I missed the text. I wanted to type something on the chat. Just give me a moment. Let me give you a scenario, guys. Oh, I lost the scenario. All right. Okay. I'm going to verbalize it. So just take note. Now, I will give you in the form of a storytelling format, right? Now, there are two best buddies, and they are recently just graduated. Okay. One is her name is Alicia, and she's a graduate from engineering. And the other one, her name is Ivan, and he's a graduate from the business school, right? Or business school of management. Okay, so we have Alicia and Ivan. So they are best buddies. And the good news is they have been hired by Dell Technologies. All right, you guys get the scenario? Give me a thumbs up if you understood the scenario. Okay. Anyway, the names also because of AI lah. All right, Alicia and I for Ivan. But in any case, all right. So this is where they started getting hired by Dell, and it's also important as to how they're going to survive, right, in the career. That is also going to be dominated. I would say dominated by AI. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please, Ms. Kalai. Next slide. Okay. Well, I had a simpler slide. I'm not sure. This is too many words. In fact, I was just asking for the heading. I gave two slides version, by the way. Do you have the other slide version? That's okay. If that's the case, then I'll proceed. But there's a more simplified slide version because I don't believe in torturing your eyes. There's just too many. No, the slide before. All right. There was a simpler, much simpler slide. Okay, never mind. I'll go on with my storytelling. Now, Alicia and Ivan, when they were hired by Dell, so what they did was they went to do a lot of research, right, about how AI is changing the workplace. And what they found, according to the research, they told each other was that, wow, there's AI is helping to automate a lot of tasks. That's what Mr. Vijaya has mentioned. Now, I will not read the small print. You can read it yourself. Okay. Now, of course, it makes life easier because now there are a lot of repetitive tasks, admin or operational tasks that is AI is taking over, which is good, right? It gives us more time for our productivity. And of course, with AI as well, right? Based on the platforms that we have ChatGPT, we have Copilot, we also have our internal tools, AI tools, etc. It helps us to enhance our decision making, correct? Okay, because we can compare. So don't just use my advice. Don't just use just one platform. Use a few platforms and compare them, and then you can make a collective decision. And of course, an even more personalized customer engagement, such as creating PowerPoint slides that are beautiful as what you saw. In fact, some of these slides also, I've used AI, right, to create the images or visuals. They are more appealing and more attractive, for example. And of course, to be able to provide, a better customer engagement as well, because AI frees up our time a lot. Well, personally, if you ask me, Alicia and Ivan actually found out that AI actually can free out about 70% of their time, leaving more time for them to contact or get in touch with their stakeholders, all right, and have those what I would call as meaningful conversations. Okay. Now, I'd like to invite you to also put your questions on the chat as we move along, but it needs to be relevant to whatever that's been discussed. Okay. If it's our topic, then I will go on with my presentation and I will address it at the end. Okay. And of course, right, it augments our human capability. It complements, in fact, enhances our productivity because we are able to do things fast. Okay, my boss asked me to prepare a report. I'll put it through AI, and AI will be able to generate information. And our internal AI tool also connects directly to our Microsoft Outlook. As you know, that is our inbox. Okay, so every morning, for example, I will ask AI to run through. All right, can you summarize, what I need to do throughout the day based on the incoming emails, for example. So that can actually help me reduce a lot of operational time reading through those emails. Does that make sense? Are we good so far? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. So far, so good? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Next slide. Well,
Okay, Mr. Chan, since you requested for the slides, so I'm sharing the slides now instead of the PDF version.
Yeah, I've given it to...
Yes, it's here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No
All right.
worries.
Yes. Easier to read, isn't it, right? All right. And Ivan and Alicia, soon, when they started their work, they actually asked their supervisors and their managers, hey, is AI, they're a bit concerned, right? Because they are worried that AI might replace their job. They're asking their boss, is Copilot going to replace my job? Because it can do stuff, that is faster than me, for example, decision making, giving me, analyzing, Excel with so many spreadsheets, for example, within seconds, right? You hardly take a breath and the output is out. But the boss said, no, don't worry. AI is not going to replace your job, Alicia and Ivan, it's in fact going to complement, right? It is like a co-pilot, it's like you're flying aeroplane, right? If you are the pilot of the aeroplane, who do you need beside you? All right? Who do you need to sit beside you? You need a co-pilot, right? Exactly. You need a second pair of eyes to oversee things and to make sure that you're on the right track, with your work, your preparation to meet a customer, or your preparation to do a presentation, all right, to other departments, for example. Therefore, human skills are still necessary, right, to monitor, to validate, as what Vijaya has mentioned, the output, because sometimes AI can, as what we call, hallucinate. Am I right? And the output, right, may not be correct. I've many times challenged the AI tool, right? Are you giving me correct? Are you sure you give me correct information or not? And then it will kind of like think by itself, again, analyze again, and then it will suddenly admit, oh, okay, I actually made a slight error, right? And it comes out with the right input, right? So constantly do the prompting, and I know nowadays you can do audio prompting, which is a lot easier when you're on the move, when you're driving a car, for example. You can even have the AI tool as your coach, right? Talk to it, right? One of my colleagues does that a lot because while he's driving, right, to work in the traffic jam, he speaks to the AI, and then the AI will respond back, verbally. And it's also important, right, to also have, an organizational support for AI. How supportive is the organization? Right? An organization like Dell Technologies is very, very supportive because we've got the foundational e-learnings, right, on AI. We also have the next level, which is on agentic AI e-learnings. So we're constantly, involving our employees, when it comes to all this e-learning. All right. Okay, the questions have already been shared, but I'm putting into a storytelling format. Okay, so please catch what I say at the beginning of each slide. Okay, all right, let's move to the next slide, please. So next thing was that Alicia and Ivan, right, as they work, in the next few weeks and few months, the question arose: what would be the career advice, for aspiring fresh graduates or interns, etc. And they are fresh graduates into the job. So that is the question, right? And of course, they speak to multiple people, colleagues in the company. And their general advice was that, even for interviews, right, we are also looking at the attitude, the mindset, and also, the ability to learn new things. That's important. Okay. Besides that, communication skills is important. As what Vijay has mentioned, right? Please ask questions. Please, continue to listen as well for perspectives of other people, right? Not just your perspective, because you may think you're right. Okay. But when you're dealing with different generations, generation Y, X, etc., or even baby boomers, right? Their perspectives could be different. So I would say step out of your comfort zone as Gen Zers as well, and take on the task of networking, with more senior people, right, in the organization. You will be surprised because at Dell Technologies there is a saying, right? If you ask, you may get. Once again, if you ask, you may get. But if you don't ask, you won't get at all. Because we don't know what's on your mind. Gen Zers, as sometimes you're very good at gadgets, right? But when it comes to communication, right? For example, during the interview, and I've done a lot of personal branding courses and passing interviews as well, with University Science Malaysia. I'm also the industry advisor over there. And many times, the undergraduates, it's very hard for them to speak up. And I hope that this is not the case for you, right? Anyway, you just think about it. Get yourself prepared, right? Because communication skills is important. You need to speak up. Once again, you need to speak up. And of course, the value of internship here is very, very important, right? Continue to learn, be adaptive. Come in, ask questions, tag along with your seniors, right? Those days, I used to get into conference calls with technical support, for example, to learn the technical and to beef up my technical knowledge, right? Besides, there was a question by Jonathan Starr, right? So I go into conference calls, three-way conference call between tech support, myself, and the customer. And eventually, I was also able to handle some of the technical scenarios. Okay, so very important, right? On the job training here is very, very important. You have only 3 months internship, right, with Dell. So you need to make the most out of it. Okay, don't let your time go to waste. All good? Clear?
All good,
Thumbs
sir.
up. Okay, right. Next slide. And then there's a question, right? Hey, I'm very good at technical. Alicia is very technical because she's from engineering, right? Then she's also very, very process driven, structure driven because she has her niche, which is on, it could be electrical, it could be mechanical engineering, whatever it is. And she's quite comfortable. But one day, Alicia went to ask Ivan, hey, why, I'm a technical graduate, technology, whatever it is, why is it so difficult, when I do my business presentations, right, to the other department from sales or from marketing. And because Ivan has joined sales and marketing, he understands that, every department will have their business needs. For example, sales, what do they want to do? Of course, they want to achieve higher targets, right? Higher revenue. And therefore, are we talking their language? Are we talking about their business needs? If we are coming from a very technical perspective, do you think they will agree with you? And therefore, Alicia got a lot of objections when she started presenting. So Ivan advised Alicia, hey, you also got to think about their business needs. You also got to think about your audience. And I would advise that we do sync up calls. Therefore, to enhance, the cross-team collaboration or even integration over here is important. And having that knowledge or even awareness, right, is also important, because we will think of our audience. We will also prioritize our presentations based on what they need, based on whatever that impacts their business. Does that make sense? So meaning both technology or technical needs to marry with your communication skills, right? Your business knowledge of what the other audience, right, or the other stakeholders requires, all right, in order for you to get a buy off. Otherwise, it'll be like Alicia, who will suffer because she's coming from a very, very technical perspective. Does that make sense? All right. And it's also a career advantage as well, if you are able to combine both technical and also the human skills. What I mean, human skills, the communication skills, the right mindset, the right attitude, right, to learn and grow. And therefore, that is I would say, the secret recipe, right, to success, because you're able to cover both areas, right? So I mentioned earlier on that I'm good at soft skills. For example, I'm a trainer, by the way, in my company. I train on selling skills predominantly, but I also need to be quite good at technical, right? Otherwise, I go train my sellers. KB, who are you? Why should I believe you? Right? So therefore, it's important for us to continue adding value, right, to what we have over here. All right, next. Okay, you're okay, If you're okay, give thumbs up. If not, you just put your question there. I will address it later on. Let's move to the next slide. All right, put your questions. You don't have to raise your hand. Put your questions. Type it on the chat. Then Alicia and Ivan, right, over the months, they're asking, hey, what are the leadership skills? Because they have been assigned to handle counterparts or colleagues from the global and, global regions. And some of them are even working remote. And they are in other locations, Japan, China, India, Australia, UK, or even US, for example. All right. That's the question. And the supervisors actually advise them, hey, you're going to have, your communication needs to be clear. Set the right expectations, all right? Don't have doubts, right? Make sure your purpose is clear, for example. And over time, right, they are able to build trust and autonomy, meaning, they one session, two sessions, they get to know each other, get to find out counterparts, personal interests, hobbies, what sports they like to do, etc. When is their birthday, when is their anniversary, etc. And also, right, to be able to have the autonomy to make certain decisions, independently make decisions. And one thing I like to call out over here for both Alicia and Ivan is that, they also start to deep dive into the cultures, the different cultures of the people, right? Now, if those of you who follow the World Cup, right, Spain and Argentina, what do they have in common? Anyone? You type the answer on the chat. The final is going to be Spain and Argentina, right? Coming Tuesday. So what do they have in common? Anyone? Anyone? Type the answer in the chat. Well, there are 50, 80 of you, right? 90 of you. Why, no answer? No, didn't watch World Cup, Guys, you watch World Cup, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, lah. So what's common between Spain and Argentina?
Both football players.
Both football, of course. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the World Cup, lah. Okay.
They have the
Hard
best of the
practice.
best.
Yeah, of course, they will hard practice. What else? They speak the same language. Guys, they speak what? They speak what? Argentinian, is it? No, Argentina. No, they speak Spanish, guys. Because Latin America used to be under the colony of Spain. All right? So there's a lot of similarity there, especially the language. Okay? Get to speak a little bit of their language, for example. Hi, how are you? Ni hao ma? All right? If you speak to Korean, annyeonghaseyo. All right? Etc. etc. Right? Thank you. Kamsahamnida. Right? Just speak a little bit. If counterpart from India, right? Nandri Vanakam. Right? That will actually break down barriers. Okay? You will find that they are going to be amazed by you. And it also shows a certain level of empathy because you put yourself to their level, their perspective. Thinking on their perspective, that's called empathy. You feel what they feel. And of course, to drive accountability, right? You are responsible, right? To set up the meetings, you are responsible to follow through, etc. Right? If you have been tasked to project manage. Okay? We good? I still have 2 more slides, I believe. And wow, time flies. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, I see a thumbs up. All right. I'm going to be quick. Now, the next question is, hey, how then do we prepare for whether it's internship success or whether it's work success, right? And I mean long-term success. Now, your internship matters. How many of you, are you expected to also do internship? Any one of you? Yes, no? If yes, give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. So make full use of that 3 months. You got to set the right impression. Workplace discipline is important. We don't, how to say, we don't snake around. Okay, we don't snake around, right? We don't, in Hokkien, it's called what? Jiak zua, right? Integrity here is very, very important. Okay, we do the right things, all right? Not just do things right, but we do the right things all the time because this is your reputation, your branding is so important. And we take ownership and accountability, right? We don't tai chi things around, right? Because when you tai chi, the problem to other departments, they are going to know. And the word will spread around, right? About your style. What's your style? When you're not around in the room, what will people going to say about you? Okay. And also, right, being able to be adaptive, to the workplace realities. What's happening around the world currently? How does Iran war or even the Russia-Ukraine war, right, impact Dell Technologies, right? It definitely impact our supply chain, okay? But how do we survive that, right? And, AI as well, right? How do we work with AI? These are, I would say, reality, right? It's not a fantasy, right? So how do we survive that? And that's so important, right? To show up, right, with full integrity, ownership, accountability. Okay, because that is important. You got to be consistent about it. All good? And this is where Alicia and Ivan, right, practice. And in the long run, they find that, hey, this is a successful formula. And therefore, the final question here on the final slide, I believe is the final slide.
We have one
I
more
have,
slide.
yeah.
One more slide, yeah.
Can you move? Yeah. And therefore, the advice, how can we be successful? All right. Now, the future success actually starts today with you, your mindset. And because Ivan and Alicia, right, they both learn, how to survive in the corporate world. Ivan and Alicia, or Alicia and Ivan will advise you continue with your learning. All right. Have that open attitude to learn. And therefore also use some human skills. In fact, we need to use a lot of human skills, to a certain extent, common sense as well. Be able to read and judge, the body language, the facial expression of your colleagues, etc., etc. Okay, and be able to empathize with them, right? Probe a little bit further, listen to them. As I mentioned, right, marry both business and technology together. You are very good at AI. Alicia is very good in technical, but if she doesn't combine this with some business skills, the business intelligence of it, right? She's not going to be able to convince the stakeholders. And then last but not least, right, have that leadership. And what I mean by leadership here is doesn't mean that you must be a leader in order to apply your leadership. There is a term called personal leadership. All of us can be leaders as well in our organization. Remember, I mentioned just now about taking accountability, taking ownership, doing things with integrity. That's leadership. All right. And along the way, there are so many things that happen in the world, right? The wars, the trade wars, tariffs, etc. Even World Cup as well. And how do we adapt to that? Okay, and it's not easy. World Cup also have to wake up at 3 o'clock to watch. All right. So how do we adapt to that? Because the next day we got to work. Start work at 9 o'clock. There's this a funny way of saying it, but I hope that you have that mentality like Alicia and Ivan, right? Because that will actually build their sustainability and their resilience to survive in the corporate world in the long run. I'm done with my presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chan, for your inspiring sharing. Okay, so
Sure.
now we would like to move on with the students' question session.
Yeah, maybe we can take one or two questions before we
Yes.
pass on to the next presenter.
Okay, let me just share my screen first before moving on. Okay, students, the floor is yours. If you have question, you may raise your hand and then you can turn on your mic and then you can start sharing question. Yes, Wen Hui.
Lukish. Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Chan. I am Taman Hui from Diploma Software Engineering. I have one question need to ask you. The question is, do we need strong technical or programming skill to work in AI-driven business or sales environment?
Well, to be honest, right, if the AI can do your job, I mean, not to say take over you, but if it can help you complement your job, a lot of our programmers are also leveraging on AI, software programmers. So unless if you are talking about hard skills, what I mean by hard skills means, that requires a lot of manual work, such as, installing parts, etc., etc., which we will leave it to our operators. The rest, the executives level, the blue collar ones, I think we need to be a little bit smarter, right, in terms of implementing our job roles. So with an MNC like Dell, you will find that, hey, life is a lot easier because you can actually use AI, and we already move into agentic AI, which come out with their own decisions. But you have to be smart in the sense that, hey, AI is here. But if I ask you, Wen Hui and the rest of you, right? Do you know your boss? Do you know your boss or not? Do you know your colleagues or not? How well do you know the other departments? How do you network with them? Are you having lunch with them, or are you having weekly calls with them, etc., etc. So you got to build a network, right, in your company as well. But at the same time, continue to learn, continue to have that knowledge. Of course, right? You know, when it comes to agentic AI and AI running agents, we expect you to be good at that. We expect you to be good. And if you can volunteer yourself to share, your new discoveries with the AI, agentic AI, etc., by all means, take the initiative. Don't wait until you are being called. Proactively raise your hand, because I always raise my hand, boss. Can you send me to the strategy calls, global ones, programming, project management, for example. Send me in. I would like to represent our region. Okay, so I hope that answers what you have. But different companies may have different requirements, right? Some are very labor intensive, therefore requiring a lot of hard skills. Okay, maybe one more question before we pass it on.
Yeah, is there any question? Wen Hui, thank you so much for your question. Is there anyone else? Do you have any question? Yes, the new.
Um,
Yeah, so
I, okay, can you, the software can use what? Um, the
yeah,
software, the software engineering can use.
all
我可以
right.
讲
Yeah, so
华语
so
吗
you,
？Hello，
yeah, 可以讲话，没问题。
我就是想说，我这个 software engineering 能用到什么地方去嘛？就是像是车啊，车的行业，好像 Tesla 这样做他们那一
OK，
些，可以吗？
这样，可以。So 你还要问东西吗？
我就是问这个，我就
这个
单单说这
OK，
个职业，
可以。So 我
因为
是 translate 给分享给他们啊。So the news question is, where can software engineering be applied? I think that you're probably having that course, right? Taking that course. That's why you're asking. Now, software engineering is used in multiple industries, right? I think you mentioned about automotive. Yes, it could be Tesla, it could be BYD, etc., right? It could even be Dell, right? Because we also have software engineering for our products as well, how we design our products. Okay, so that will be applicable. All right. But you have to combine this with your knowledge of AI. You see, let me just share with you the highly scenario where Alicia and Ivan went for interviews. One of the key questions was, what do you know about AI? Does that make sense? I like to emphasize a lot on AI skills. So meaning, before you even join Dell, before you're even hired by Dell, you got to be really good at ChatGPT. You got to be really good at using Claude. Familiar, at least familiar, right, with the platform. DeepSeek or even Perplexity, or what we call there are many, what other platforms, Notebook LM. How do you create slides? How do you create visuals, stunning visuals, or how do you create short videos, for example, etc., etc. Because that will give you the cutting edge. Because you are going to be competing with other software programmers. But if the other software programmers are not so good in AI, but you are good in AI skills, that will give you the additional advantage. 可以吗？OK，
可以。
谢谢。All right. Multiple industries. Software engineers can be multiple. Even in oil and gas. They need to design the whatever it is, right? Oil rigs, designs, etc. Right? You need yeah. How do you build those parts, right? Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Zanyu, for your question. Thank you, Mr. Chan, for your insightful responses and valuable input. I personally loved the story of Alicia and Ivan. That narration was very
Yes.
catchy.
AI.
Great. Yes, A and I.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
AI, yes.
Okay, so
Right,
we truly appreciate your time and valuable experiences you have shared with us, Mr. Chan. So let's give
right.
Mr. Chan another round of applause, can we? Okay, so we will now continue with our third industry sharing session, shall we? Now, let's now move on to our third speaker, Mr. Muhammad Iqbal bin Muhammad Zaki. So Muhammad Iqbal will be sharing his insight on AI-driven renewable energy systems, smart optimization, and embedded intelligence in 2026. So Mr. Iqbal, welcome. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kalaveni. So, yeah, a quick introduction to myself. I currently working in a software background. Actually, it's a firmware development team, which is BIOS. If you guys know, when you log into the your laptop or PC, you will see like a logo based on the manufacturer, like whether it be Lenovo, HP. Yeah, that is a firmware that responsible to bring up your chip and boot up to the OS operating system. Um, Before this, I was working in a technical-ish area in a slightly more marketing side that I interact with the customers like a board makers, which is platform application. And I did some um, postgraduate studies previously in renewable energies. Hence, this uh, title is being called out uh, regarding the renewable energy and the smart grids. Um, yeah. Moving forward, the question that shall we proceed with the question?
If you would like to, yes, we can.
Yeah, sure. Unless
Okay.
anyone else want to ask about background.
We will have the students' question session,
Okay.
student question Q&A session later.
All
Shall
right.
we move on with our questions then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's continue with the academic dialogue. So we have representing our lecturers. I would like to ask a few questions to gain a deeper understanding of emerging technologies and explore how we can better connect classroom learning with current industry practices. Okay, so our first question. Renewable energy and carbon neutrality are becoming more important in 2026. In your opinion, how can AI and technology help improve renewable energy systems today?
Yeah, there is a lot of area that AI can cover, not specifically to generative or agentic AI, but to the machine learning as well. So, in that sense, we have something like energy harvesting in a photovoltaic system or wind turbine. There is some mechanism in order to obtain a high throughput of power with a specific or the current situation of the lighting from the sun or the how fast the wind blows. For example, in photovoltaic, we have a one system that called MPPT inverter that responsible to mesh the load. Uh, I mean the end load the consumer are using. We have to mesh the impedance. So this control mechanism, we can apply machine learning algorithm to it by either using computational intelligence like particle swarms optimization, neural networks, reinforcement learning, and so on. So we have ability to gain 30% more energy from the same setup. And beside that, we can also have like um, when we have a IoT based system, right? Internet of Things, where all the system of photovoltaic module interconnect through internet. So with this data that we put in into data lake, we can analyze, help, getting help from AI uh, to analyze if there are any discrepancy or unexpected values, or we can like through the data set, we at some point we can put some logs that okay, during this time frame this hardware fail, and then from this historical data, AI model can come up with um, expected time frame when the hardware will be failing again. So that's called predictive maintenance, so that we can replace uh, a set of system before the things happen, before the fault occur. And then beside that, in the power system, right? Um, Usually we have a different set of power generators, like from the coal, from the gas, natural gas, or solar farm, wind farm, and so on. And all these generators sharing a same network of grid, power grid. And from the power provider standpoint, they actually have to have control when we want to tap the power from this plant A uh, to this area of factories or residential area, and and then when the plant A want to have a rest so that they can do maintenance, then we tap on the plant B. So this is called grid balancing. And when we look at the power, it's not like we charging a phone. Once we generate a power from the coal, it will burn away, and we have to find the most effective control from the power generation to at what timing, and we distribute to different power zone, residential or the factories and so on, right? Yeah. Then with this, we can again apply the machine learning or generative AI to do the supervision work so that it can balance the grid. Uh, because once a threshold, like the whether it is a frequency, power frequency, like our national standard is a 50 hertz. If any of the disturbance happen and there is a delta or differences in the power frequency, our whole power system will shut down. So this is as crucial to maintain the power, to not overburn our fuel, and also not to underconsume or overconsume, because once we overconsume the power, then we will have a total blackout. So this is important for AI to supervise, and also again for accelerate the R&D. So when we develop like solar cell in a sense of material science and power system for inverters, because for example the solar photovoltaic produce a direct current or DC, same like our batteries, but the one that we consume is alternating current. The one that we have on our house is alternating current, so we need to convert from DC to AC, which we need to have an inverter to invert from direct current to alternating current, and from the wind turbine, we need to lower down, so on so forth, using the power converter. And these different domains of knowledge, from material science, the power electronics, the controlling algorithms, we can always use artificial intelligence in order to, like Mr. KB just said, as a co-pilot, to accelerate our research and development.
Okay, thank you for the response. Okay, now shall we move on to the next question? Okay, could you share some real world examples of how AI and embedded intelligence are currently being applied in renewable energy system, and which applications do you think will have the greatest impact in the upcoming years?
Sure. Yeah, this question kind of interrelated, like my previous answers before. So again, um, one of the example that I have is that we could do a optimization of power extraction in a module level, so that we can extract more power. It's like we are trying to get the most of a work done from little fuel. It's like when you drive a car, um, try not to be so aggressive and not too slow, so that you can see that the kilometer per liter kind of increase, so that you can save more power, which is efficient. Yeah, this controlling algorithm can be implemented using the AI, machine learning, like uh, small machine learning model, like the one that using TensorFlow, um, can be implemented for the edge use case, or even if you have a bigger network or bigger system, you can have a centralized server that can run on a powerful AI workload. And then again, one of our example, uh, there is some initiative by DeepMind or Google that they have an optimization for AI wind farm, that the machine learning model can predict the direction of the wind, and also the speed, so that they can control the pitch or angle of the blade, the wind turbine blade. So this kind of making the job more easier, and based on the historical data, we can have much more precise control over the logics from our programming, so it can complement that, instead of we have to figure out or fine tune our algorithms. Yeah, this is very helpful in extracting the energy. And another thing is, regarding the autonomous vehicle, that this the we can do something like, this is kind of future thinking, that probably when most people have a EV, let's say, they can store electrical charge in their car, and then this will impact of having a retention of energy, that, let's say, if we have a blackout, so we can have control over our power consumption by reuse the one that we have from our EV. Uh, and another thing, example that I can give is like, from Siemens and Honeywell, they have a AI optimization for um, heat ventilation, air conditioning. So the aircon the lighting and the on-site solar to battery control for a building, so that it can be a uh, green class of building or any premises that utilize lower uh, power and have a better carbon footprint. Beside that, yeah, let's say we have a solar farm. Yeah, in another example, we can do like something like drone inspection for photovoltaic panels and also the wind farm by using the AI machine learning algorithm that can detect any um, um, let's say dust or any things like leaf falling on the solar photovoltaic module. That's one thing that can help the renewable energy with the use of AI.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal, for the wonderful examples, starting from the basic as aircon and also towards the EV, solar, and also wind. Impressive. So, due to to ensure that we have enough time to cover the next segment, we'd like to proceed to the last question. Is that okay, Mr. Iqbal?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. So, this is the question. From your perspective, how can students best prepare themselves before starting their internship? What are the key expectations employers and industry supervisors have of interns? And what should students know about the transition from student life to professional workplace?
Okay. First of all, before the internship, they have to have a very strong technical and fundamental. Um, let's say if your knowledge on a certain aspect or domains is not too deep enough, then you have to maintain a strong foundation so that you can carry yourself over. That you have a very uh, firm knowledge. Let's say if you have an issue that came up to you in a real case in a work scenario. Usually for myself, well, we always have a issue like other team, like validation team, filing a ticket that they observe. Oh, this we keep seeing this issue with the display. For example, this display port is not working while the HDMI is working. So you need to have a strong background on how to trace back to the fundamental. You have to have that kind of mindset to follow through or root cause or reproduce that particular issue. Beside the technical that you prepared, like the background, for example, the programming skill with C, C++, Python, and so on. And then you also need to have a good soft skill, like STKB mentioned. So not just like doing presentation, because it sometimes it depends on your role, because um, sometimes your job is much more deeper. You have to gather the fine granularity that actually rely on the hard work as well. So you have to have a good soft skill to spoke with other stakeholders. For example, the validation team that just tested your feature, let's say, you have to go and approach them. You have to really spoke up and very transparent to any input or critiques from them, so that we can solve the issue without any hassle or restriction or friction. Yeah, and again, you have to be punctual. That's one of the expectation by your peers, if not managers. And then, yeah, uh, take ownership. If you the fault came from you, you have to own it and make sure you follow through. Uh, don't just tai chi to other department or different teams. And you have to be proactive to get to know to solve the issue your life is depend on it, and because of whole organization is depend on it as well. And also you have to have a strong teamwork, cross team and cross domain as well. I believe I
Okay.
my time is up.
Yes, yes, it is. Okay, thank you. Thank you once again, Mr. Iqbal, for those insightful responses. Okay, students, remember, don't tai chi things to others, huh? Okay. Okay, students, this is your opportunity to learn directly from an engineer working in embedded system and AI technologies. So now we're going to move on with the student question Q&A session. So students, do you have any question? Yes, Senye.
Good afternoon, Mr. Iqbal. My name is Teo Singyi. I'm currently studying for a diploma in software engineering. My question is, as students, how can we start learning about embedded systems and IoT if we have no experience with hardware?
Oh, that's easy. You know, we are in the age of AI now. Not just that, before this we have a lot of YouTube videos as well. But let's say if you want to start from zero, the easiest path I would say and user friendly is the using the cheap microcontroller that you can buy from Shopee. It's called Arduino. That actually based on ST microelectronic. It's a 8-bit microcontroller, and that Arduino community is very helpful. That they have a lot of libraries that you can start with. For example, if you want to create a system like a LED strip with a RGB colors, right? Or even like a game using the LED matrix as well. And if you have a more budget, but this is not so robust in terms of the stability that you able to connect with internet, which I would suggest you to go with ESP32. It's a development kit that can connect to internet, so you can do some system that can check, for example, a soil from a flower pot, check the humidity and the temperature, and then publish to your cloud by using MQTT dashboards with Node.js or Rednote, that you can put a meter in a website, so you can see like a dashboard in a browser that has a meter for humidity, temperatures, and so on. Yeah, it's something that you can look for, because um, there is a support in Arduino as well, that the library is available in the Arduino IDE. If you want to go more serious, you can go to microchip MCU or ST microelectronics, which is much more pricier. That is much towards the professional way. Yeah. For starter, you can. It's safe to go to Arduino first.
Okay, Mr. Iqbal, thank you. Cindy, I think, yeah, you got the answer. Okay, due to the limited time, we're going to close the student Q&A session. It's evident that speakers would like you to be patient. We have one more speaker left. So this may, over the time that we have anticipated. So thank you once again, Mr. Iqbal, for your excellent sharing. Let's give him another well round of applause, guys. Okay, so now we shall move to the next final speaker, Mr. Muhammad Anas, Ms. Bahudin. So, a security consultant. So, his insight will be on cybersecurity in the AI era, building resilient digital defenses for tomorrow. So, Mr. Anas, we are delighted to have you with us. Please welcome.
Hi, thank you very much, moderator. Can I just share the screen? Is that possible?
Yes, you may.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen? Is it in a sharing mode?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
No, the click on
Oh,
display setting because we're seeing your presenter notes. So display setting to swap the presenter view. Display setting drop down. Can you see
one
display
second.
setting above your slide? There's a drop down over there. Show taskbar display setting.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I think. Thank you very much for having me today. And I think today's, I mean, the perks of being in the last session, you don't have to talk so much because you know that those tools are actually being covered by have been covered by others. Okay, I won't take so much of time. I think by right we should actually finish it at 5:30 for the whole session. I'm just probably gonna take around probably 10 minutes lah. Bear with me. I'm just gonna run it through very quickly. Okay, so just a little bit about myself. I'm Muhammad Anas bin Misbahuddin. I'm currently working as cybersecurity consultant together with all, you know, in terms of cyber scams and whatnot, so all under my purviews as well. Advising clients and providing inputs in terms of implementing AIs, clouds, and whatnot in terms of security. So those are the things that we are looking at, lah, right? So and if you look at today, what we want to actually achieve today, I think not that much, but I think that's I would be happy if everyone could actually, you know, take these three things away for today's session. Number one, see the real threats, what we want to know. Second is understand modern defense, and the third one is actually to launch your career lah, in terms of where you want to go in the area or in the landscape of cybersecurity. So if you look at things that we always talks about is cybersecurity. Number one, we always wanted to talk about data. We wanted to secure critical systems, and last but not least, we always wanted to defend around the clock. So right, so we always look into solutions that able to actually protect ourselves and you know solutions that doesn't keep us solutions that help us to prevent from waking up at nights, right? So I think those are the key things that we always work on. Right. So, you know, these are the five things that we're going to go through today, but I think this is going to be very quick. I'm not going to run through all due to the time constraint. Number one, we're going to touch on emerging cyber threats. Second, we're going to touch on modern defense, zero trust. Third one is building a cyber career. Fourth, on I think this is the most important one, how you transition from becoming a student to a professional later, right? So, you know, there's a lot of things that we should actually equip ourselves and be prepared before we go to the industry. And at the end, the threats. So this is the first question is it was given to me. So you know, while having the session just now, I've prepared even more. items that I wanted to talk about today. But along this, I mean, while listening to other speakers just now, I've managed to generate these slides using AI. So I just wanted to make sure that I've just see that I have probably 10 to 15 minutes. Please help me prepare the slides, but with the contents that I provided. Please concise it, make it short to 10 minutes. So that's why AI produced this to me. So if we look at number one, there's a lot of threats or challenges that we're facing right now. Number one is on AI powered attacks. Right? There's a lot of if you get out there, in terms of DDoS, ransomware, all those things are now using AI powered attacks. And in fact, encryptions, everything's that in our phones, and in fact, our WhatsApp chats are all encrypted. So nowadays they have PQC, all those things that able to actually manipulate or break the encryptions that we have. Second is on ransomware extortion. I think this is data encrypted. This is the typical ways of people hijacking or attacking an organization. So they're just gonna encrypt your data, and they ask money to actually decrypt it back. And identity is the target. I think this is important one as well. We also talk about targeting high profiles, CEOs and whatnot. In fact, there's real cases that I would like to share. I mean, this is publicly available, right? A bank's the CFO was gotten an email from CEO to make a payment, right? So at the end, the CFO trusted the email and initiated the payment. That is what happens, lah, right? That is the real case scenario that's happening. Supply chain risks, I think this is important as well. You have to look at end to end. And now we're talking about cloud and attack surface. Cloud is very important. Everyone moves to cloud. I think so many solutions that everybody go into cloud. And in fact, AI all runs on cloud as well. So we have to really look into all the security controls to make sure that the environments are actually protected. And the weakest point is actually the human factor, right? Because humans I mean, we have sentiments, we have jiwa, and things that always happens in our environment. So we always take that as a targeted layers of attacks, right? So these are the data that if you look at from IBM cost of data breach 2025, 4.92 actually is for from malicious insiders. So that's why we always talk about people. So my one of my tasks is actually to give awareness to everyone, right? To in fact to the clients, in fact to the internal organizations, or in fact to the community, right? So we always doing this kind of corporate service initiatives to be able to actually give all these informations to the respective people that impacted, right? Um, just now we talk about attack, but now we are talking about modern defense, right? So there's attack and there's a modern defense. So we look at AI just now. We fight AI against AI, right? So AI, with recent technologies, AI can actually detect all the threats, right? Whether this is a legitimate attack or this is false positive. Solutions are now embedded with AI, right? Second, strong identity MFA passkeys, right? I think if you were to actually use Microsoft based platform, that's authenticator, right? That is MFA lah. That's always being adopted in many organizations, and I think that is quite and is very important and crucial for organization. Third one is patch fast. Okay, so this giving an example, if you are not facing this, is your laptops, right? But sometimes when you wanted to present something, suddenly there's a pop-up to update your patch, or probably update your Microsoft Defender. Or sometimes you just put it aside and you just you're gonna do it later. But actually, yes, that's right. You shouldn't do it immediately. But I think you shouldn't take it so long to actually do it. Probably, at the end of the day, you restart and update the patch. But some people, they hold it for a month, which causes the laptops that you're using to a malware or to malware attacks, right? Backups, right? Backups is important as well. The human firewalls. Like what I said, training people is very important, right? I think KB Chan was explaining about human as well. People's are very important, so they need to be able to actually understand and protect the environment. And last but not least, on defense in depth, right? Right. So this is the principles that we always adopt. Number one, previously all model, castle and moat. Right. Once you are inside the wall, you're trusted. Break it once and you can roam freely. But that was an old model. But now we're talking about zero trust, right? So we're talking about airport security. So once you get in the airports, there's a lot being checks being done lah. Your boarding pass, your IC, in fact your luggages and your backpacks as well, right? So these are very important. Okay, so if you look at here, I'm gonna share these slides, right? Sorry, I have to run through this very quickly, but I have these slides and I'm just gonna share it to everyone here for your reference. I think look at traditionals and zero trust, which is we don't want to actually allow people to be able to access. So, these are the things that we're looking at. What I think is very important, if you are breach, movement is still contained. You don't allow people to actually just move and do whatever they want, right? That is the key things that we have to look at, right? Okay, so in terms of work-life balance, I think this question really attracts Gen Zs, I think, right? Because people always wanted to have me time. People always wanted to, be at certain level that you don't have to think so much about work. But I think, um, like what I put it here, right? It isn't perfect 50 out of 50 every day, right? So sometimes, you wanted to make sure that you're able to actually do your work, right? Deliver your commitments, then switch off your clear conscious, and then make sure that you communicate early when overloaded. Expect peak periods, and well-being is business critical. So for myself, I think just to share, I always go for holiday lah, just to chill out, right? So without laptops and without any PCs, so I'm just gonna switch off my work world, right? So I won't be there to actually do all this work. So I think that's quite important for me. All right, what skill you start building, right? I think students here have been asking this question previously as well, and I think what is important is if you look at technical foundations, these are the technical foundations that you have to look at. Seconds are if you look at the right side, it's the professional and mindset. Right? So I think this is important. But leading a team, I think technical foundations alone is not sufficient. I think it should comes with professionals and mindset, because I think coming out from a problems and be able to actually recommend the solutions for us to solve the problem, that is the important skills that we are always looking at lah, right? And good starter certifications, I think Computer Security Plus, Network Plus, and in fact for AI, I didn't include it here. There's a lot of AI, Copilot, low code, no code kind of trainings available through Microsoft platforms. Feel free to have the access and look at it, right? Because I think that is something that you should actually learn, without forking out any money to get the certificates or even the training, right? Career path, I think this is important as well. Give me another 1 or 2 minutes. Number one, SOC analysis. People always ask, in terms of cybersecurity, where should you go? Right? There's a lot of areas that you actually can be with, right? Number one, SOC analyst. This is the very level 1, level 2, level 3. All these are actually the starting point for you to start and enhance your technical skills. Second, GRC and compliance. So GRC and compliance, normally we would actually expect people that a bit senior lah, because I think this involves compliance, involve regulatory compliance, all those things. So we require a bit senior kind of role. But you can start. There's a lot of organizations also offer fresh graduates to be in that particular area. Penetration testing, I think most of us have done it before. I mean, for cybersecurity students here, I think this is quite typical, right? I've done it during my study time using the Tenable Nessus and whatnot. Those are the tools that we have been using lah dulu kan. Cloud security, right? This one we are talking about it as well. Macam mana you nak set up the architecture, all those things is important as well. Identity and access also important. How you want to manage IDs, all those things. And last but not least, on incident response, lah, right? Um, Before you start your internship, these are important things. Refresh your fundamentals, right? Because they will ask you. Research the organizations, sort the logistic, learn common tools, right? For example, command line, like I mentioned just now, Tenable Nessus, Kali Linux, all these tools you should actually, able to actually use it lah. Prepare good questions and bring the right attitude lah. That is the most important thing that I believe. Uh, be able to actually move up or probably be or secure a job later. Okay. Again, so I'm not going to touch it so much. I think what supervisor expects, these are the common things that your supervisor is going to expect. And I think um, I've hired our interns as well, right? Because of their personality and their character and attitude. I think that's the most important thing. You and sorry, I'm a bit high. I have a bit of high expectation of Gen Z, right? Because all informations are all over places, so they can actually put things together and be able to actually use the information. So my expectation is certain people, trends and whatnot, they should be able to actually capture it and make sure that able to actually iterate it and explain it very well. Okay. Okay, I think that's all. This one I'm going to share it later, lah. Right? This is a typical questions that would actually want to answer, right? Which one you should focus on, all those things. If they put it here, maybe you can actually look at it, lah. From your perspective. I mean, whether it is something that relevant to you. Okay. All right. Last but not least, before if you have time, you can go a question and answer, and if it is not, these are the 5 key things that we always talk about in terms of security. Threats are faster than and AI powered. Zero trust. Don't trust anybody. Right. Sometimes you don't have to trust. You cannot trust your friends as well. Right. Learn the basics before the buzzwords. Professionalism gets you hired and kept. Attitude, reliability, communications. Last but not least, AI is just a tool, right? Not a replacement. I think I've seen it before. There's a question on the chat. Whether AI is replacing us, I don't think so, right? I've seen in multiple organizations that they are not replacing it, but they are helping people to be more productive, right? Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anas, for very practical insights. And I love the FAQ question that you have posted. It was very informative at the same time. Okay, so for we shall close our session with this question, Q&A session. Do you have any question from your end? Um, is there any question for Mr. Anas? Okay,
All
it's
right.
been answered. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. If there's no question, thank you.
Yeah, I think I
Okay,
also helped
thank
to
you,
answer
Mr.
some of the
Anas.
questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Anas, his screen I was not able to.
You are breaking. Is that just me or?
I'm not able to share my screen. Would you please?
Okay,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Yeah. Okay, done.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, so since there's no more question for Ms. Anas, we shall move to the final session of the day, which will be panel discussion session. I can see that our chat box getting busier and busier. Okay, so now it's your time to share your questions here. So people, if you have any question, any other question than the presentation or any question regarding the careers or technologies, any, future workplace, anything that you have in mind, so please feel free to ask.
Wayne mentioned about gaming PC. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good. You know, you have a chance to get it, and there's also a lot of developers out there. Developing games as well. You'll be surprised that a lot of these talents are also required, right? Because Gen Z and even Gen Alpha, right, are into gaming these days. So there's still a lot of opportunity there. If you like, I can always connect you to someone in the industry, right? He recently flew in from US, and he's also one of the developers of the PUBG app as well, right? So it was a great session, but you'll be surprised that there's also a career on that in terms of creative design, also software engineering as well, programming, of course. Okay.
Okay, is there any further question, students? Okay, so if there is already, yeah. Okay, so
We,
that's just to make sure that the chat box questions are all answered. If not, any of your questions are not answered, please let us know. Okay. If there is no
mm,
further questions, we'll proceed to. Oh, yes, I have one. It's my dream to be a gamer. Okay, thank you for sharing, Wayne.
yeah, keep that dream alive. Yeah, continue to build your knowledge, and there are a lot of graduates who graduate on this in this line as well. A lot of them in overseas, right? You may want to in the US especially. So you may want to just go find out. There are a lot of YouTube videos. There are a lot of you can find out from the AI platforms how this is done, because I think those courses are. I'm not sure if IPK offers that, right? But those advanced courses on the gaming industry, etc. They're usually based in the US.
Okay, nice. Any further question? Any related to your studies, career, future career? Okay, if there is no further questions, we will proceed to our certificate of appreciation ceremony now. Okay, so thank you once again to all our distinguished speakers for your insightful sharing and valuable contribution throughout today's session. We have now come to the certificate of appreciation ceremony. As a token of our sincere gratitude, I would like to invite Mr. Shami to remain on screen as we present the certificates of appreciation to our distinguished speakers. So first, okay, so our first certificate of appreciation is presented to Mr. Chan Kim Beng in recognition of your valuable contribution and also helping one another to answer all the questions in the chat box as well. Really appreciate that, um, Mr. Chan. Okay, Mr.
Thank you. Thank
Chan.
you. Thank you.
Okay, let's smile. Take a few pictures.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
Okay. Okay, now we shall next, we are honored to present the certificate of appreciation to Mr. Muhammad Iqbal. Thank you for sharing your expertise.
Right,
especially
President.
in AI driven and renewable energy? Yes. Okay, I see you on the screen. Okay, let's smile. Okay. Okay, thank you. Now, moving on to our very final speaker, we are pleased to present the certificate of appreciation to Mr. Anas. Thank you. Thank you for your informative sharing on cybersecurity and for equipping our students with valuable insight in the future of digital security. Okay,
Thank you
let's
very
smile,
much.
have a few pictures. Okay, then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, congratulations once again to all our distinguished speakers on behalf of IPK College and the School of Technology. We sincerely thank each of you for generously sharing your knowledge, experiences, and professional insight with our students. Your contribution have made today's industrial sharing session both meaningful and inspiring, definitely. Okay, now, um, so since our principal is a bit busy, unable to join us at this moment, please allow me to deliver a few closing remarks on behalf of the School of Technology. As we come to the end of today's industrial sharing session 2026, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to all our speakers for generously sharing their knowledge. And I also would like to extend my sincere thanks to our management, lecturers, organizing committee, and every student who participated in making today's event a success. I hope today's sharing session has not only broadened your knowledge, but also inspire you to continue learning, embracing, and emerging technologies and prepare yourself to become future ready professionals. Remember, success in the technology industry is not determined solely by technical knowledge as what our speakers have shared just now. It also requires curiosity, adaptability, continuous learning, and the willingness to embrace new challenges together with your soft skill enhancement. On behalf of IPK College and the School of Technology, thank you once again for joining us today. We wish everyone good health and continued success and all the very best in your academic and professional journey. Okay, before we leave, we would like to have one more um, photo session together with those who didn't manage to join earlier. We would like to have all of you on the screen. Smile, please. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so please turn on your webcam and smile at the camera.
I see all those pretty faces.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Put it in a big group. Okay, smile.
Camera Rosa. Oh. Okay, my camera Rosa put profile photo. Keren ah.
Okay, we'll be there
Okay.
then. Okay, that's all for today. Take care, stay safe,
AI for the future.
and we look forward to seeing you.
Yes, for your future.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
Mr. Lee.
Right.
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Chan. Thank you, Mr.
Take care, everyone.
Anas.
Keep in touch.
Thank you,
Right.
All the best.
teacher.
All the best,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay. Keep
Thank
in
you,
touch.
teacher.
Bye.